Hi again then guys, and so we've got another PP specific circuit setup for you today, and this time it's for a vehicle which maybe it's just from what I've seen, but from what I've seen doesn't really get all that much use. You can understand why. It does get completely overshadowed by the fan car version. It is the RedBull X2014 Standard. It's the slowest, slow of course being a very relative term when it comes to Red Bulls, of the mainstream Red Bull models. I do not count the Junior as a Red Bull. Technically it is, but it's not. It's just an overpriced go-kart. This car is extremely good for what it is. It doesn't have the fan system, which is one of the reasons why the PP is a lot lower. It also runs a lot less power than all of the other Red Bulls. And that adds up to the fact that it can actually have an advantage, and that is PP. You can detune the Standard to a much lower PP than any of the other mainstream Red Bulls. But its PP in its stock form is so high, over 920 PP, that it's virtually useless, because at that level you might as well just use a regular Red Bull. And I think that's one of the reasons why many people never use it again after the initial Red Bull Championship. I know that's the case for me personally. So, something I like to do with vehicles that I own is, if they're not seeing as much use as they deserve to, repurpose them. So then at least if the occasion does come up, you've got something there ready and waiting for whenever you should come across a race limit, PP limit, power limit, weight limit, etc., that car is perfect for. So in the case of this Red Bull, it's the 800 PP level. I would recommend having racing softs, but obviously you don't, strictly speaking, need them on this car. I'd recommend reducing the brake balance to 1, because they're still more than powerful enough. Springs I've reduced down to 1825 and 2325. Dampers to 6, anti-roll to 5, neutral camber and tow. For the gearbox, an auto setting of 205. Then for the individual gears, we've got 5225, 3.6, 2.7, 2125, 1725, 1450 and 1250, with a final drive of 5. For the diff, the lowest initial torque, highest acceleration and a braking sensitivity of 10. This one does have an oil change, so you do need to bear that in mind, and we've reduced the power down to 494 horsepower. We've got the downforce as high as possible. You don't really need to do that because it's got more than enough on whatever level. I've just done that to get it to the absolute most focused point of its handling. If you do reduce that, of course, you can get a better top speed, in which case you will need to lower the final drive because it will hit the red line. And I would recommend increasing the ballast to 200 kilos, which we've put 16% towards the front of the car to give it a 50-50 weight split, and again to bring it down to that 800 PP level. The performance that it has is, I would say, perfect handling, perfect brakes, not too powerful, not too weak, tons of grip, so much easier to drive than any of the other Red Bulls, and it still does over 190 miles per hour, even with the reduced power and full downforce. With reduced downforce, I think it could probably hit around 220, 230 maybe, but with a lower final drive, as I said. So now let's take it out to the track to see how it performs. Now, as far as how useful this particular setup is overall, obviously this is an extremely specialised, very niched setup. So, of course, this tune is not going to benefit everyone who watches this video. This is a very selected tune for a very small group of people who would like to use the car, but don't really have any reason to. As I said, what's the point of using this when you can just get the fan car? If you're in a race, then most of the other people there will probably have the fan car, unless you've agreed between yourselves to just use the Standard. So in other words, you're going to lose. So this tune is for people who would like to repurpose the car, as I've done in the past with the Lotus 970 and the Chaparral Vision GT car, and I have to say it performs extremely well. It's 5 seconds quicker per lap on this track, Ascari, than the Toyota Minolta. Now that may not sound that impressive, 5 seconds, but you need to bear in mind that although this car does have approximately 100 kilo weight advantage over the Minolta, it's also running far less than half the power. Far less. So for its spec, it's an extremely strong car. So, if you've got this car and don't really know what to use it for, I'd recommend giving this tune a go at least. And if you'd like more tunes like this as soon as they're released, be sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.